Entering sales order information into Oracle EBS can be a bit of a runaround. It's time consuming and prone to error. Today we'll see how you can use the More4Apps sales order wizard to leverage the functionality of Excel spreadsheets to maintain that information without having to click around all the Oracle edit forms. We'll watch our order to cash clerk James loading sales orders into EBS via the native forms, and then look at him using the sales order wizard to do the same task so we can contrast the relative efficiencies of the two approaches. James has a listing of new sales orders that's reached his order to cash team. For each of these he has to go into the relevant form in EBS, enter the header information by clicking on the controls to select customer details, order type and so on, and then click on the tab to do the lines. Here he needs to enter the line details one by one and click his cursor from one place to another to make sure he's captured everything correctly. There's a lot of scope for error here, and because the controls are not all visible at the same time, it's easy to accidentally miss a step. It'll take him a few minutes for each one, and then he'll have to repeat the process for every order. But if he uses the More4Apps Sales Order Wizard, he can do the whole list in seconds. Here's the wizard. You can see darker colored columns for feedback from Oracle, lighter ones for the sales order values themselves. The basic sheet is pretty comprehensive, with sections for all the values you might want to enter against your sales orders. At the top, there are toolbar ribbons with buttons to drive the process. James can easily transfer his sales order information from the listing into the worksheet with copy and paste. Because he's lined up his worksheet columns to match his source document, you can see all the values appearing in the right places. He can then add in any information missing from the source document. He might do that by entering the values directly into the sales order row, or by pressing this button or double-clicking into a sales order entry, he can open up an edit form to enter in the values that way. He's not yet connected to Oracle, so he clicks the Log On button, enters his user and password, and selects the responsibility with authority for this task. In the edit form, he can use the controls to pick validated values from drop-down lists, and you can see he has access to all the columns on the sheet. Now in this case, James wants to use the same values for all his new sales orders, so it's quicker to enter the value into this defaults row, which will populate the sheet with that value where one isn't provided. You can see he's already set up a few defaults. When he's ready, he can upload the sales orders to Oracle. In the toolbar, he has a button to validate the data, and another to upload the data. The upload will perform the validations anyway, so he'll just use that, clicking on Upload All to process all the information in the worksheet. You can see the wizard validating the sales order data and then calling the Oracle Public API for each one. And in a matter of seconds, they're all loaded. The process has also populated the sheet with a lot of the descriptive information defaulted by Oracle, giving him a good picture of what has happened. And scrolling down shows they've all been processed. He can obviously verify they exist in Oracle too. The wizard returned the new sales order numbers, so he copies one of those and pastes it into the Oracle form to view it. There's the header. And there's the 3 lines. The rules in this EBS instance means items are automatically reserved, but you can see one of them doesn't have a reservation. There must be a stock availability issue. He can fix that in the wizard. He clicks on the button to change to reservations mode and creates a new sheet. Then he downloads the order. And he can see only the 2 lines of reserved items. If he adds the 3rd one and uploads it, he gets an error. The quantity on hand isn't sufficient. So let's imagine this sales order has priority over all the others. He can download the orders with reservations for this item using the download form, and remove those reservations using the delete action. Then he can reserve the item again against his priority order by simply reloading it as before. And now if he requeries the lines of the sales order in Oracle, he can see the reservation is recorded correctly. James can also update his orders using the wizard. He copies the sales order number down into an empty part of the worksheet and downloads it to view all the information against it in Oracle. It's brought back a lot of defaulted values. He wants to change the scheduled shipment and arrival dates for one of the items, so he makes those changes, puts in the action of update for that one, and then uploads the sales order. Now if he downloads it back into the worksheet, he can see the new dates recorded against the item line. James can also cancel or delete the sales order or lines with the wizard. Here's an example using the lines. The edit form shows he has a choice of a few actions. He'll delete this third line and cancel the second one. For the cancellation, he needs to give a change reason, so he enters that in using the form so he can select the validated value from the list. Then he just reloads the sales order. Done. Now when he downloads it and looks at the lines, he sees the third one has been deleted and the second one has a quantity of 0. James can also enter pricing adjustments. He selects that mode from the button and creates a new sheet. He then pastes in the sales order number from earlier and downloads the order. Now we can apply an adjustment. He opens up the form to enter the adjustment details at header level using the validated lists and text entry controls. And he can apply adjustments at line level too. He'll add an extra adjustment to the third line in the same way. Double-clicking on this part of the sheet opens up the line adjustment form. When that's all done, he uploads the record using the button. And the green status values come back to the sheet to indicate the adjustments have been applied. But naturally he can verify that by looking in Oracle. First he brings up the header adjustment. There it is. And then next he brings up the line adjustment for the third line item. And you can see the order adjustment and the 2 line adjustments, including the VBR 0041 he added manually. James can also maintain sales agreements with the tool. If he selects that mode from the button and creates a new sheet, he can manage those. For example, he might enter in a customer number and download all the agreements for that customer. And he could update or add to that information if he chose to, in a similar manner to what we've seen already. Now the sheets we have looked at already are cut down to reduce the number of superfluous columns, but you have complete control to add or remove as many as you want. If he clicks back on the order entry mode in the toolbar, James can create a sheet with all the available columns for that mode. And if he scrolls through them now, he can see there's a lot of functionality there, including support for attachments, both here at line level and back here at header level. And he's free to customize his sheets to include as many or as few columns as he needs. So that's the Sales Order Wizard from More4Apps, the easiest method to maintain sales orders in EBS. We've seen it supports order entry and maintenance, pricing adjustments, reservations, and sales agreements. As with all More4Apps wizards, it's completely configurable. It supports descriptive and key flex fields, reading your setup dynamically to be always in sync with EBS. The uploads use the Oracle seeded public APIs, so you're always in step with your Oracle support contract. And as we've seen, you can pre-validate with edit forms and take advantage of copy and paste and all the feature-rich functionality of Excel. So why not reach out to one of our sales team or follow the download link to try it out for yourself.